So yeah, man, welcome everyone who is tuning in to this wherever we put it. I'm sure we're gonna put it somewhere nice, like
Yeah, definitely.
Spotify or something. but yeah, welcome to the Matrix Spaces with M Saibu and Alex Billington. Did I say that right?
Yeah, and you're M
Awesome,
Simon.
awesome.
Cool.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
sounds like a Matrix
And
name. I gotta be honest, man. It's like
that's amazing. That's the best thing anyone has said about my name in years. The last
Agent
time
Saibu. What are you doing?
right. But someone told me when I was in the Air Force, and when I arrived at my base, this back in the day, I was in the U.S. Air Force. When I arrived at my base, someone was like, "Yo, we took bets and we thought you were Asian, yo."
Wow.
And I'm like, "Wow, that's actually pretty cool." But so yeah, that's the best thing since then. So yeah, The Matrix, man. I am extremely excited about this film
Me too.
because funny enough, 2 weeks before the trailer dropped, I just had like on a whim did like a rewatch of the trilogy.
Oh, nice. Perfect
Yeah,
timing.
yeah.
Like,
So like perfect, man. So like when the right around the time I was finishing with that, I saw like the teaser for the thing. I was like, oh snap,
yeah.
this is it. I was very excited, man. So what about you? How's your excitement been for it? Has it been since like they announced it? Because mine
Yes.
hasn't been. Yeah.
I mean, I've been up there. It's just been this long wait to see anything, which like because they filmed it last year, and I knew it was filming.
Right.
There were these photos from when they were filming in San Francisco. But I kind
Right.
of
Right.
like
Right.
I didn't want to hype myself because I'm also kind of in a perfect world. I was like, I wish I could just see it tomorrow without having seen any footage before. But then this last week when they were announcing the trailer and everything, there was just like this, it just came back to me. I was like, I've been waiting so long for this, and finally this moment. And I don't know if you were like me. My intro is that before I started my website, like so
Right.
I guess when the two sequels were coming out around like 2002, 2003, I was one of these like hardcore nerds online who was reading like every
Mm.
forum. And we were like picking apart every last detail of like literally every website and every piece of footage we could find. And the funny thing is that when I think back to it, I'm like, everything we thought was
Wow.
going on wasn't true. You know, it was all we were like, this is this, and
It
then we
wasn't,
watched
but it
the
was
movies and everything.
exciting.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. We were like so obsessed with all these details, and I haven't felt that way in like literally 20 years now. And now I'm like back to that,
Wow.
like
Wow. Wow.
going through the
Wow.
trailer, like picking it apart, being like, what's in the background here? And that's the kind of
That's
excitement I'm
actually, yeah,
getting.
yeah. That's the third one got me into the forums, but I came in way late, like way late, because
Okay.
I only, yeah, I came to I moved to Germany, and I was in Germany for a minute. I was living in Heidelberg.
Oh,
I moved
nice.
to Heidelberg, yeah, in 2009 or something, and that's when I sort of, this is from Ghana, so like I was able to sort of have the freedom to explore, like watch movies and all that. And
Yeah.
then I started wanting, so I'll get online and going. But then the forums, I was basically behind
Yeah.
on everything, So I would be reading up stuff, and then I'll be like, "Oh, this is ridiculous," and,
Yeah.
But then it's like, come on, like I feel. But then I can tell, like, if before you saw the film, it made sense why you would think that way. You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? So it
Exactly.
got me into the same thing, and then it sort of dovetailed me into like comic book stuff because that's where I was able to get that kind of community
Oh,
back
nice.
then. Because the
Awesome.
Matrix
Yeah.
stuff had kind of died down at the point where my interests had gone in. So this time around, I'm like, it's almost like a pilgrimage for me because it's like, yo, I'm finally part of this thing for real.
Yeah. Exactly. Although now you have,
Like I'm part of the journey for real. Now I'm speculating and all that stuff.
yeah, exactly. Although now I'm kind of worried that we're going to be like firing off these ridiculous theories that just are like, I mean, some of the stuff I've been reading, I was like, I don't even know where they came up with this. Like, this is not even in the
Right.
trailer. Like, what are they saying? But it's fun until
Dude,
you're like, this is too much.
you're right. It reminds me of I remember when Endgame was coming out, that same thing happened. Like there were so many crazy things, and
Oh
then
yeah, yeah, yeah,
eventually, when the movie finally came out, it was like some of the craziest stuff turned out to be true.
yeah, yeah.
I was like, wow, like that's crazy. But yeah, like with the Matrix, I'm just like, first of all, like the way they open it, I feel like the color palette of the very first shot is
Mhm.
sort of like a callback to the end of the movie because I had just been done watching it, so it
Mhm.
seemed very similar to me. Like when Sati what was with the Oracle, and they were like, "Yo, we think I think he's gonna like it," or something like that at the end of Revolutions.
Yeah, yeah. With the
Yeah.
sunset
So
or the sunrise.
yeah, so it's like for me, just that alone was like, oh, okay. Because before the trailer, there were a lot of like sort of rumors that it's gonna be a complete reboot or something like that,
Mm.
you know. And seeing that for me was like, all right, cool. We're actually just sort of stepping back in and sort of going forward from there. So that was that shot got me excited immediately. Like soon as the trailer started, I was like, yes.
Yeah, I think it's such a great trailer because it eases you back into the world and then it throws a bunch of stuff at you and it's like I don't
Exactly.
know what we're seeing, but I'm excited as hell by what we're seeing because I was actually worried that they would have played a trailer where it would have just been like one shot of something and then just ended with the Matrix Resurrections title and we're like that wasn't
Right.
enough, you know? But this has so much in it and like you said right from the start I'm like okay, I'm into it. I'm curious to see where they're going, what they're doing. I think the other best part about this is that none of us have any idea. Like they didn't release anything about what it will be, what's going on.
Exactly. Yeah. Even we had to find out the title from like officially from the film. They were like rumors or whatever, but like
Right.
the everything was from the trailer. Like, yeah, like this is how we're announcing everything. And
Yeah.
then the most intriguing shot up to this point for me, since I saw it, is the when we see a shot of old Neo,
Yeah, in the
with his
mirror. Yeah.
eyes burned out and stuff. No, not
Oh
that
yeah.
one. Like original Neo. Let me put it that way.
Right, 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 right.
OG Neo, where like his, you can tell like that's after his fight with Smith or something, and it's like they're doing. It's sort of like they kept his body or something. It
Yeah,
seems.
yeah.
Yeah, it seems like the Sentinels or whoever they kept his body and stuff, and that's probably how we are back in this thing right now. You know.
That's probably true. But when I was rewatching the trailer last night, this is my big discovery last night. Late night movie
Yeah,
watching. I was
yeah, you said you're gonna go watch it like 100 times.
yeah, I had to double check. In this so in the beginning where there's this clip of him, it's like a half a second shot of him lying on the ground, like you're saying, like he has the
Right.
burnout eyes and the machines are working on him.
Yeah.
Right after that is another quick shot of like um these two weird machines coming together. I don't know if you've seen
Oh, okay.
it's like this red thing, and there's these giant machines that look like they come together in the middle. And I looked really closely, and it's actually the like tub where they put the humans when they are normally in the Matrix. And there's two of them
Oh.
next to each other, pointing at each other. And I don't know if it's Neo and Trinity, or if it's because she also died at the Machine World in the end of
Right.
the third one,
Right.
or if it's like Neo and because of all the theories I'm reading, Neo and another Neo or something like that. And
Oh, that would be wild.
yeah, and then the next shot is like Neo in his tub, like reaching out, and I think he's reaching out to
Yeah, the
Trinity.
red. Yes, yes,
Yeah,
because that one I remember, and there's another shot of like a profile shot where you see both of them sort of reaching out to each other.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, at some point. So you might be right about
Well, I think it's
the
just what you're saying. I think it's just like they're being
yeah,
put back in, and this is like the
yeah,
machines saving him from the end of the third movie somehow for
right,
some reason, and then putting him back in, and then my feeling based again on the theories and rumors I've heard is that this starts a new Matrix again, and that it kind of continues with what we see in the rest of the trailer, which is like Neo being back in the Matrix but not knowing anything and having no idea
right,
like who Trinity is and what's going
right.
on.
And
Which is
him, yeah, and I wonder why, another thing I've been seeing that has been discussed a lot is why they're keeping him back in the program
yeah, exactly.
instead of just sort of like if you have his body and why not keep him out of the thing and so he doesn't complicate it anymore. But it means that it's possible that they now want to sort of. I feel like there's a lot of discussion that it's possible they want to basically study the anomaly
Interesting.
while he's dormant.
Yeah,
You get it?
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah.
like they want to be able to study it so that in the future they might be able to just eradicate it completely. So it never occurs again. But maybe because it is what it is, it's always sort of somehow it always wakes up, you know. And another shot that really has me curious is it seems like the Matrix is like a film within this new Matrix.
Yeah, that's the craziest thing.
Because I saw like yeah, because I saw the projection, and it's in the trailer twice. There was one where it's
Yeah.
okay, and another one where like it's got like a gash in the
Yeah,
middle of
exactly.
it,
Yeah.
sort of like something happened or whatever. And I'm wondering, which means that that would even make Neo's awakening even more complicated.
Yeah, because
Because yeah,
what I read, and again, I have no idea if this is real or not, but the thing that seems to be common amongst most like people guessing is that they're using this replay of the original Matrix to like turn people off from the idea of joining Neo. And they're
right. It
like
seems
using it,
yeah,
yeah, like they're using it as this like, oh, look at this fictional story movie that someone made. Like, hey, don't do this. This is a bad idea. But also like,
right,
you know, trying to trick them into thinking, hey, this is something that you don't really need to worry about because it's all fake, even though we
right.
know it's real and that you can actually get out of the
Exactly.
matrix.
Yeah, and a lot of the comments is that is very meta for some people who
Yeah,
have seen
exactly.
it. So I'm thinking that that's probably the biggest aspect of it because it's probably like a movie. And I'm thinking, do you remember like, yo, what if this is the craziest theory that I personally have? I think
Uh-oh.
like, you know what Cypher said he wanted? This is probably what they've given to Neo.
What?
You remember exactly what Cypher said? He wanted to be like an actor,
Oh, right,
and not
right,
not remember anything about the Matrix and just sort
right.
of. And I think that's exactly what Thomas Anderson is now. I'm
Ah,
thinking
like they
because
put him back in and they removed his memory and they're kind of just
right,
like,
and he's like an actor or like a writer or something, but
ah,
he is part of the creation of whatever the movie in the universe.
right, right. Interesting.
So so if he starts, because I think that's why he's with his therapist, because he's probably wondering, okay, why am I suddenly having dreams about this world we created? So that's why he's wondering if he's actually create crazy, because it's like, yo, I think I made all this stuff up, but suddenly I'm thinking I didn't make it up.
Hmm.
You know, what if I didn't make it up?
Yeah.
But I don't know if they'll go too far with it and make him like a full-on actor who is like has starred in like 3 Matrix movies.
Well, I don't know because the only other thing I notice is that he's not recognized by anyone. Like in the elevator shot,
Right.
like he's kind of looking around, being like, "Why doesn't no one know who I am?" And I don't know
Right.
why he's looking that way for because I would think that they would recognize him because he's in the movie everyone's
He's in the
watching,
movie. Yeah.
which is
Yeah.
weird.
And it's part or that's actually part of the whole thing. It's like he's probably washed up, so they gotta do a reboot to sort of get him because at the end the guy is like, okay, we're going back into to the Matrix, and maybe
Yeah.
it's like his last, hurrah with the studio. And they're like, yo, let's just do another one, a win-win for everybody. Because maybe he's washed up and the kids don't even, because everyone is locked in on their phones,
Yeah, true.
which I think is also another type of conversation that the movie is having
Yeah.
about all that stuff, you know. But
Yeah.
but I still think it's possible that we're probably looking way too much into it, and he just probably just maybe no one like maybe it was a video game and that's like cutscenes.
That would be crazy.
I know, right? If they called it Enter the Matrix, that would be meta, really meta, because that was the name of the game.
Oh
You
man,
know,
I wouldn't be surprised if they have that game in this movie somewhere. I wouldn't really. It
right?
would make sense.
Yeah. Another crazy thing that no one seems to be talking about too much is like we've all just accepted like Yaya as Morpheus, right? But like,
Right?
but we're in the no one. I feel like there's more to how he is Morpheus because I don't think that's the
Yeah, of course.
original.
Of course.
Yeah, like I feel like it's possible he's most likely like a reboot of the program, like
Hmm.
the Morpheus' original program, but not because I think if they're gonna bring in Morpheus, because I don't think he's in the real world. Like I don't think this Morpheus is the Morpheus in the real world. I think he only exists in the Matrix, like the new one.
You mean like because he was killed off, or
Probably, maybe because I'm thinking it's possible. At the end of it, it's implied that he's going to be with Niobe, right?
at the end of the third one? Yeah.
So yeah, at the end of the third one. So it means I feel like they're probably going to fake us out, like and for us to think real Morpheus is not going to be in it, right? And then we're gonna see that that's his new avatar within the Matrix, but he's actually very old now because this is a new cycle. Because they would have aged however many years has gone.
Yeah, I was thinking that
I
too.
think,
Yeah.
yeah, like I'm thinking they're probably old now, or that, or he's probably not around anymore. Like he's probably passed away or something. I just saw a comment yesterday where someone was wondering if what if the new Morpheus is old Niobe's avatar, because that's the
Mm.
only way Neo might recognize her or something. And that would play into, remember in the first one, Switch was supposed to be like that.
Oh, like like she could go into whoever she wanted in a way.
Yeah, because the Wachowskis had wanted to sort of use it to make sort of a bit of a comment about the trans experience and stuff, but at the time
Yeah,
the
yeah.
studio wasn't going for it. Yeah, so I'm thinking, what if they go for it now, where
Ah,
you get it, where
interesting. Yeah, yeah,
Niobe,
yeah, yeah.
you know, Niobe basically, when she goes back into the Matrix, she reuses Morpheus's old programming because maybe the original Morpheus has passed away or something.
This is the most
Because
exciting theory I've heard so far. I have to be honest with you.
yeah, because I was thinking about it today, and right before we got on, I was on this Mr. Sun. I don't know if you watch this guy on YouTube, Mr. Sunday Movies, and I was
Oh,
watching
no.
his stuff. But then in the
Okay.
comments, yeah, like in the comments, someone was like, "Yo, what if it's Niobe?" And then it just got me through this rabbit hole, and I was like, "Yo, they did want to do something like that, you
Crazy.
know, years ago. So what if that's what they're doing?" So the twist is gonna be when we finally go to the real world, we see old Niobe rather,
Wow.
and then we find out that, because I think that would be really cool, and it will even sort of intensify her whole connection with Morpheus and stuff like that,
Yeah,
because
yeah,
she's
like
kind of continuing his work even after he's been gone. But in
yeah.
a way, he lives still in a way.
Yeah, because he's important to the path of Neo and what he's doing.
Exactly, exactly. I'm thinking that might be like something they might be looking into or something like that.
No, this makes a lot
But
of sense though. This really does.
yeah, because I was sitting there thinking about it, and I was like, yo, it's because when he says he doesn't know her and he doesn't know him, and he's like, no, I'm thinking they're just putting that in there for us.
Yeah, of course, of course.
I think it has a different meaning when when it is finally revealed that that's who it is. But if that's not who it is, then he's because the only thing that puts a hole in what I'm saying is we do see a shot of some sort of like them assembling Morpheus.
Hmm.
Like there's a shot of like his body coming together or something. I don't
Really?
know.
What?
Yeah. In the trailer, there's like a shot
Huh.
of Yaya being like created or
Oh, right,
something.
right,
Like
right. Yeah, I saw that. And I was like, what the
yeah,
heck is
like, and
this?
I'm like, what the heck is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's the only
So
thing
I don't
it's the only
know.
thing in the trailer that like we've never seen before. Like we've never seen that kind of
Exactly. We don't know
formation.
what that is. That
Yeah.
technology. We don't know if, but that's what the only thing that's I think it either put holes in it or it either intensifies what I'm saying. Because what if that is the new thing? Like you can create a new like. So when they show the flashback, they're showing how she created this new avatar.
That would make
Like
sense
it's
though.
like
That
when
makes
you
sense. Yeah.
yeah, because like when you assemble an avatar, maybe this is the first time we're seeing an avatar being assembled for the Matrix.
Right, right.
you know. So we'll see, man. I'm hoping, but
Well, so
watch.
the reason why this all makes sense is that number one, Jada Pinkett Smith is listed on the cast, and we all know
Yeah,
that
she
Lawrence
is
Fishburne isn't because and the weirdest thing
exactly.
with Fishburne is he's been out talking about how he's like they never called me, they never
You know,
asked me
called
back,
me.
and he's like he's
Yeah,
the only one out of the entire cast to say this, which is very strange to me. I still don't understand it unless he's
yeah.
lying,
I
but I
don't.
don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be either like he's completely lying and something, but or it's gonna be something deeper where like that
But
might
yeah,
yeah,
but Niobe's in
you
the
know,
cast. That's what I'm saying. You're like you're on to something here
yeah.
where she is clearly in the cast. She's a part of it, and she isn't in the trailer anywhere.
She
So
is exactly. So
maybe they don't want to reveal what you're saying, which is that she is like running the Morpheus avatar through this version of the Matrix now.
thank you. Yeah, that's
Hey
my
man,
thought
this
on
is
it. Like I'm
good.
thinking.
I'm gonna give you credit when we watch this in December, and I'm like, it was
I
all
swear,
you.
yeah, yeah. Like, yo, you said this, and then if it's wrong, I'm gonna be like, I'm just gonna be quiet.
Well, there's gonna be a lot
But
of
nah, it's
crazy stuff, I'm
exciting.
sure.
I
Yeah.
know it's exciting. Watch them, just throw a whole completely different thing that we never even thought about.
Well, I hope
Because
so,
that's the
honestly.
exciting part. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's always the exciting part of it, I think.
I
you
mean,
know.
the other thing
And
that
then,
confirms what
uh-huh,
you're saying is the way we see what everyone has assumed is Sati, which is
right,
Bianca as she's as like, older. And to me,
right,
that's
right.
the only hint in the trailer that people have definitely aged 20 years. Because everyone's saying like,
Exactly.
oh,
Like we've
everyone
moved
is
forward.
in the same age or whatever, but you're like, wait a minute, Sadi has aged, which means there's definitely a confirmation that there is 20 years of time between these two stories. And how does
Exactly.
that play into the Matrix and what are they doing with it? And my first
Exactly.
guess was like, oh, she's the Oracle, but I don't know, maybe I'm going too far with that.
No,
But
no, it could be because you know what? Remember, because I just watched it recently, so some things that are still fresh in my mind. Like one of the
Mhm.
things that keeps popping up is when they went to have a conversation with that program, that old program that got on the train, Sati's father.
Yeah,
Remember, he said that like everyone, like they all have purpose, right? And each of
right.
them is always like replaced by a better one and stuff like that. So I'm thinking the reason she was with the Oracle is because she's like a young program that's basically going to become that.
The
So
next
it's
Oracle.
possible
Huh.
she's the new,
Yeah.
she's basically become the Oracle now. That's her, and the other one has been retired, probably taken to the train, whatever, you know, to where they used to take old programs. Where what's it, the guy, the French guy,
Yeah, Merovingian.
forgot his name. Yeah,
The
the Merovingian.
Merovingian.
Yeah, where because I saw his ring is in the film. It's in the trailer, at least.
Yeah, I was
So
wondering if that
hopefully,
was him too, because
yeah,
I know he's got to
because
be in it.
hopefully, yeah, because if there's old programs and there's been a new Matrix and everything, he's sort of the purveyor of that stuff.
Yeah, for
So
sure.
he's gonna have to be in it. Yeah. So I'm thinking it's possible she still could be the Oracle and also be Sati at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. Like she just, like you said,
Yeah,
like she grew up and was
right,
became the Oracle in a way.
right. Because she's given, sort of the way she sort of the glasses and the way she sort of has
Yeah,
I don't know, there's like a
and the
demeanor
book
about
and
her that
everything.
gives
Yeah,
me
exactly. Yeah, yeah,
exactly, like, giving him the book, pushing the book towards Neo and all that kind of gives her like Oracle vibes.
yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yeah,
My
yeah,
so
yeah.
one of the things I want to talk about with you because as I've been reading a lot of the theories, I've had to like go back through the second and the third movie, the
Right,
Revolutions and Reloaded.
right.
And one of the
Reloaded.
things I want to bring up is that even when I saw this in 2003, I still didn't understand it. Is that in Reloaded, what happens is like he goes through this whole thing, he meets everyone, he meets the architect, he learns about like the fact that it's not the first Matrix, it's the sixth one and all this, right?
Right.
And then he ends up in like they attack the ship in the quote unquote real world. And at the end of
Right.
Reloaded, he has these powers to like destroy the Sentinels
Yeah.
in the real world.
In the real world, yeah, he stopped them
Right.
with
And I remember, right.
telekinesis.
I remember thinking like, what the hell is going on? Like, how does he have these powers? And then we all assume, as you said, telekinesis or like he has some way where he can connect into the machine world, just by himself. And
Right,
then
right,
and then
right,
we
right.
continue into Revolutions. And the funny thing about Revolutions is it never addresses this the rest of the movie. Like
For
it
the
never
rest of the
goes back
movie,
and explains his
yeah.
powers, except for when he goes to the machine world and he fights them at the end, which I'm like, again, he just has these powers. He has like crazy powers
Right,
in the
right,
real
right,
world.
right.
And I was always like, how does he have crazy powers in the real world? And they never answer that question. They don't even like have him
Right.
ask it. One of the
Matrix
theories I
within
read,
Matrix.
yeah, no, that's the theory I read was people think that the real world in Zion is also a simulation. And that the whole
Dude, I've been
concept,
thinking about that.
yeah, the whole concept of like freeing yourself is also part of the game of why Zion isn't really, it's like it's all part of the strategy of the machines. It's like, oh, you free
Right.
yourself, but you free yourself into another simulation which we also control. And that no one
So
is
they,
really
they
truly
keep the
free.
yeah, so they keep using their real selves as the battery because it's layered
Yeah,
and it's really
exactly.
not left. Yo, that would be wild, man. Because
I know. That's
but
crazy, isn't it? But
you know,
that's what it makes me
and
think
I
about
would
these
love that
sequels.
too. Yeah, because but that would even make the stakes higher. Like it sort of re-establishes stakes in the universe
Yeah.
because like if we feel like this is the fourth one, right? It's
Mhm.
just sorry, the seventh Matrix is just a new continuation. It's almost like we're like, yeah, as soon as Neo wakes up, this is all gonna be over, you know like once he remembers everything. But if we kind of find out that even the real world is another layer, it means there's so much more we don't know.
Yeah, exactly.
That means there's so much more places the story can go. you know, there's so much that can be done. That's crazy, man. I actually think
I
you
know.
might be onto something, man, because that's true. They never went back and it never got addressed ever, not even in the line. Like no one had any
Yeah,
explanation. Yeah, he just I
weird.
remember the last like he stopped it and then he passed out. And then in the next one, at the end, when he's fighting them, he's using them again. And that's that. Like
Yeah.
and then he dies and they pick up his body and and no one ever like throw away line like he was so powerful that he could finally control them outside. Like nothing like that.
Yeah. Well, this is why
You
someone said that this
know?
is why Cypher wants to go back is because and then someone said that they take it further and they're like they're going to use Cypher as an example of why trying to disrupt the Matrix is a bad move is because they're going to be like, oh look, the Zion world is this boring, dumb world with you eat crappy food.
Yeah. And
You want to
it's
be
still
like Cypher.
a
You want to go
simulation
into
still.
you want to stay in the
Yeah.
Matrix and you want to be there and you want to like cooperate with the machines or live this miserable life in the real
Yes.
world. And I thought that was kind of cool because I'm like, oh, that's
Yeah.
what they're kind of playing with, and it connects to our tech world now. It's like, hey, you don't want to disrupt the world we're living in right now because
Yep.
you're
Yep.
enjoying everything you get and everything you have right now, and like, how dare you try
Yep.
and touch that and mess with that?
Yep.
And look what
Yep.
would
Yep.
happen.
Yep.
If we didn't have technology, we didn't have the internet, it would be a terrible place. You don't want to
100%.
try that. You know?
That is very true. And I really feel like uh I feel like Cypher as a concept, uh,
Yeah,
is sort of like it's gonna haunt this movie.
yeah. I hope so.
Yeah, like, I really feel like that because like we're saying earlier, like with his whole I want what he his whole dream being possibly being what is happening with Neo. Like he's like a prominent figure, celebrity type
Hmm.
who doesn't remember any, or his whole figuring out that at the end of the day, what if what if we also figure out that like Cypher figured that out, and that's why he just decided he wanted to go back.
Yeah, yeah.
Because that's also a thing. I mean, I'm happy he died though, but but that's also a thing because it's possible he sort of just saw that, yo, what if this is just another layer and it's a just crappier layer
Yeah,
of the
exactly.
Matrix, to make people feel like it's real or whatever. And that'll also explain, you know, that could actually also explain the Neo that are waking up in those new type pods. Because we see
Mm,
two types of pods in the trailer.
right.
There's like these new tech ones, the one that we see what's her name? Trinity in.
Mm,
And then the other ones that we were talking about earlier, where like the Sentinels are around them, all that kind of looks like the classic, like the ones we
yeah, yeah,
knew
yeah.
already. So what if you might be right, man? Because what if that other shot of clean shaven Neo and Trinity waking up, they're actually waking up in the real world.
Yeah.
You get
What
it? Because
I
her
know,
head is
double
still
real world.
shaved. Yeah, like her head is still shaved, as is his, and you can even see like he is sort of is more recent Keanu, so there's a bit of a thinning on the sides or whatever. But like, but it's like it's showing that this is like, and there's no eye damage or something, So maybe that's actually, who knows? Maybe that might even be getting to the end of the film, like
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
we're just learning some new like some next level thing. Like, yeah, that was all like part of the whole new, like that's still another layer of the Matrix. You're now waking up
Because
to
I
like the real world.
my question for you is that I haven't figured out if the whole point of this movie is kind of like redoing. I hate to say this because I like the new Star Wars, but I admit that
Right, right, right. Force Awakens.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
basically the same thing as the original Star Wars
yeah,
again.
yeah.
Like go and blow up a planet. And I'm
Right, right,
worried that the
right,
Matrix is going to do the same thing. Like, oh, it's going to be like, oh, turns out he has to go through two levels of getting out of the Matrix, and then is
right.
the whole goal again just going to be the same thing of like, oh, I wake up in the real world, and then try to stop the machines and save humans? Is that? But I always think like that's kind of boring now,
Nah.
right? There's got to be something
Yeah, that
more
would be
to it.
boring, man. I'm thinking, honestly,
Exactly.
I think, yeah. And, you know, I read a few comments that Lana made a few days ago about, grief and all that type of stuff.
Hmm.
And I'm thinking it's entirely possible that Neo might end up being, by the end of whatever this series is gonna be, he'll probably end up being being an idea where like they'll put the Neo part of the mythology to bed. You
Okay.
know,
Yeah.
yeah, because I'm thinking they're probably trying to set up another like sort of another algorithm, sort of another version of the anomaly
Right.
that might come on, and maybe that version may not happen if this Neo continues to stay, and maybe that's why the machines kept him, because every time you actually destroy him, that's when the thing sort of mutates, right? And
Right.
becomes in all the other versions, like they've said, every time they destroy him, he sort of comes back in a different
Yeah.
way. You know,
Yeah.
so they're like, you know what? Let's not destroy this guy. Let's just keep him and keep make him immortal. So it's the same program that does not evolve.
Yeah. I
So
keep
maybe,
thinking. Yeah.
yeah, so maybe they're gonna maybe even in this one, I don't know, maybe in this one, or if they're gonna make a trilogy, maybe the point of it will be to allow the program to be able the anomaly to evolve once more.
Yeah.
And that will be from Neo to truly sacrifice himself, like to truly be gone, so that the thing can to sort of to do what he intended to do originally. Because I have a feeling Neo wake if he I don't think he's gonna be happy when he wakes up and finally remembers everything.
Yeah. Of course not.
Yeah, I don't think he's gonna be okay with the fact that he's back again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Trinity died, like tragedy happened to him and everything, and he sort of accepted his fate, and decided like this was it, and now he's gonna find out, they actually kept him alive,
Yeah.
and he's been a puppet this whole time. I don't think, and
Well,
as you can see, yeah, he seems like he might be a bit more aggressive this time also with his powers. Like looking at what
yeah. Of course.
that small snippet of when they were training in the dojo.
Yeah, and he also like in one of the shots earlier, he's like literally grabbing a bullet. Like he used to just stop it with his hands, and
Yeah,
now he's just grabbing it. I'm like, all right, he's clearly more powerful. We don't know what that means, but
yeah.
he's got these powers.
Yeah.
Um,
And
and
it
I'm
seems like Trinity might have powers too.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if something else is going. I mean, there's clearly some weird things in this version of the Matrix that's unexplainable yet. Um,
Right.
I was
Like
I
with
was
her
thinking
thing.
I was thinking with what you're saying that I keep wondering if the whole point of what Lana's trying to do is deconstruct the myth of what Neo is and say like the hero,
Right.
which we've all come to see him as for the one, which is like a cliche in stories now, and like
Right.
question that idea and be like, hey, maybe the point isn't that this one guy is the one, and like you're saying, like take this whole idea of what
Right.
he has become as a myth over 20 years and question that and make us examine if the idea is important, but it's not the man who's important. It's like kind of like the
Exactly.
Spider-Man movie where it's like it doesn't matter who Spider-Man is. It's anyone can wear this
It's
and
the
anyone
symbol,
can be
yeah.
Neo. Yeah.
Spider-Man, but like what they did with the Dark Knight trilogy, sort of it became more of an idea,
Yeah,
you know.
exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, that's really what I'm leaning to as well, because it's almost like because with the new characters and stuff like what's her name? Christine, is it Christina Henwick or
Jessica
Katrina?
Henwick. Yeah, yeah,
Jessica Henwick, yes.
yeah.
Jessica Henwick's character seems to be sort of in the position of the Trinity character in the
Yeah,
first film.
yeah,
Like she's the one guiding him and all that stuff. And it also seems like Trinity's importance is also becoming more to the forefront. And another thing also is the Morpheus character seems to also be a driving point of it. So once again, unlike the first one where we're sort of coming in, yeah, we might be coming in from Neo's point of view, but it seems like they're trying to set up what you're saying, where, you know, the idea of what Neo is, what he stands for, is still sort of influencing other things that are going on in
Mhm.
that thing. And there's even a rumor that they might flip the whole like who is the one type of
Yeah, that's what
thing.
I'm
But that
saying though.
one,
Yeah, that's what.
yeah,
Yeah.
because yeah, like who, like what if it's not, that like, and that's what I was saying. Like maybe the program needs to evolve so it can become something else.
Mm,
Because if you keep it as the same thing, then it sort of it's sort of like you got to update the program all the time.
yeah.
Because if you don't, what it's able to do is sort of obsolete, right?
Yeah, of course. And I think Neo can only do
And
so
it can't
much.
keep up, right? And it
Yeah.
can't keep up with the Give me a second, okay?
Yeah, no worries.
Uh, one sec, I'll be back. It's like there's some people in my backyard. Hello. Hello. Sir, please, what's going on? Oh, okay, no problem. Oh, okay, okay. Okay. All right. His yo, Africa is funny as hell, man.
Why? What happened? This is crazy. I feel like you have some
He's
Matrix
like-
going on there. Like, who's showing up, man?
Yeah, he was like, I guess his chickens ran into my yard. So
Okay.
he came in to check it out, like, yo. And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, he's cool. But yeah, like you were saying, yeah, like we can get back into it. But yeah. So like you were saying, I think that's really the crux of it, really. Like it's all about evolving the concept of the one. And I have a feeling a lot of people are probably gonna be really mad about whatever they do with it.
Yeah, because
I think it's
they
gonna
want
be
it to be
controversial. Yeah,
yeah, like the pure Neo concept, and they're gonna be like, oh, guess
right,
what? It's not Neo, and you're gonna be like,
right. Yeah, my wildest theory is that my wildest the one I think that is gonna shake everyone and annoy
Bring it,
everybody,
bring it.
and it's like I think it's gonna be like Trinity is now the new evolution of the anomaly.
That would be cool.
You get it? Because
Yeah,
we saw like when you in the trailer you see like there's a part where he's talking to her and you see like the sort of the matrix you sort of see the code running down her cheek.
yeah,
Sort of like
yeah,
she's only within the program. So maybe so I'm thinking that she would be the new anomaly that is born of this new matrix.
yeah,
You get it?
yeah.
But also connected to the old one. And because I think it'll all come back down to, when he took the bullet out in Reloaded.
Right.
In those terms, it basically like he sort of rewrote her code. Right. So if because he had to, because everything in there is a simulation, it's code. So he basically rewrites the code of her being shot so he can get the bullet out and not hurt her organs, whatever. So it's possible doing that sort of bonded some of him to her. So that's my wild, like,
I love that.
my
That's
wild
great.
theory is that
No, that's great.
Yeah. The new theory, the new the new anomaly is Trinity. And so when they both come together, it's crazy. Like if they are both in the same place. And I think that by the end of, if this is a trilogy, by the end of it, Neo will be gone and it'll be like she will be that's her, because in this new iteration of the Matrix, she's the one who needs to wake up instead of Neo. Maybe maybe the trailer is sort of making us think it's all Neo, and maybe like Neo actually wakes up within the first 20 minutes, and we kind of discover no, we actually have to find the new anomaly, and of course that leads us to Trinity and stuff like, and of course, and he remembers her, all that type of stuff, because I think that even without the red pill, if he sees her, if he just bumps into her in a coffee shop, like the way it seems in the trailer, he would like it'll jog up some things.
Right, but they still don't know what it means. Yeah,
exactly. But they still don't know what it means. So maybe eventually they kind of figured that out.
That makes sense.
But that's my wild, like.
No, but this is onto something too, because
theory.
a lot of people have been saying this since the footage first dropped. Like there was always this idea that they're going to replay the Matrix, but it's not going to be Neo in the lead. But now that you throw in your other theory about Niobe, I'm like, what if they're taking the characters? Like, what if the characters of Morpheus and Trinity and Neo are like basically like embodied by other people, kind of like a video game.
Yeah.
And then they're rerunning the Matrix, but with the idea that, okay, well, Neo can't solve the problem because they know who Neo is. It's going to be Trinity who solves it, and she's going to be the one who comes out on top and makes a difference. But they still need to kind of lead them and send them on that voyage again to do that.
Yeah.
And, all this makes sense too, because also the other thing that really, now that you were talking about this, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember in the trailer when Yahya as Morpheus or whoever he is first talking to Neo, he's like, there's still this reason that you've come back. And I
Exactly,
was
and
like,
that's
of
why
course it has to be
you're
Trinity,
not gonna
right?
give up. It has to be Trinity, yeah.
Yeah.
You
Because it was
know,
always about
and
love and that connection.
exactly. So I'm thinking like we're gonna realize that the one is actually this collective, this Trinity, these three people, these three programs, right? That keep like if all three are working in sync, we have the one.
Right.
Like then we have everything that puts it to like makes it happen, you know, and
Yeah.
maybe we because if the Morpheus character wasn't as big a deal to the actual program's mythology, I
Mhm.
don't think they'll bring the program back and not because like then they without bringing back Lawrence Fishburne, you get it. But them not bringing him back means like the Morpheus avatar program within the Matrix is of some significance,
Hmm.
you know, because that's why it's still there. Like why
He was
Morpheus?
always
Why not
significant.
something else? Right,
Yeah.
exactly. You know, he because he in the beginning is he sort of when you know when I was watching it again, in many ways that movie was Lawrence was sort of pushing it more. He was more of the driving force of it, and Neo was the student sort of coming into himself by the end of it. So yeah, he was, and they were back in those days. I don't know if you remember this. Back in those days, you remember people used to think Morpheus was a different version of the one from one of the other
Previous
versions of the
Matrixes.
Matrix,
Yeah.
you know. But because he actually is a person in the real world, I don't believe that. But then again, that can happen if that real world was just another layer.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. But this is what I want them to explore because it's so deep and it's so cool to like
Yeah,
go that far into because even by the end of the second and third movies, I was like, oh, okay, they're just fighting the machines, and I was like, that's not. I wanted more like
right.
mind messy
Fine,
philosophical
Inception
stuff.
type stuff.
Yeah, like deep in and why are they thinking this and what is this doing? And if she takes it that far in this one, I'm like, that's what I want to see. Like I want them to mess with our
Yeah,
heads more than like show us an action
yeah.
scene because that's why it's like
Exactly. And honestly, I want it to be sort of the same as like because you know we all love the Matrix right now, but when it came out, everybody loved it. But at the same time, a lot of people who used to think it was like full of itself or pretentious were also there. Like there was a lot of that discourse as well. That's
right,
sort of
right,
what made it notorious, right?
right.
And I think that's kind of what we need again, you know, because I feel like a lot of the people who came on board as fans, they sort of have like these very specific expectations.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people want it to just be sort of the same, like you were saying, like, oh, us versus the machines
Hmm.
type thing. And I don't think that's what Lana would want to come back and do. Because if that was the case, they
Right,
probably
of
would have done a
course.
sequel a long time ago if it was
Of
just
course.
going to be like rehash everything. So yeah, I'm really leaning toward that whole, you know, we're going into a very deep place with it. And I have a feeling is going to be quite, you know, it's going to cause quite a conversation. This is going to be quite a Christmas period conversation.
I know. Actually, I was thinking about that. I'm like, man, everyone's gonna be annoyed with me because all I'm gonna be talking about at Christmas for like 3 weeks is Matrix, like theories. Even though
Me
we're gonna
too,
know what the
man.
movie is, I'm still gonna have theories. Like,
Exactly.
what
We're
about
going to
this
be
in the
discussing
movie?
it. Yeah,
Yeah,
because we're gonna have more things we're gonna know more things when we actually have the film, and it's gonna be on HBO Max. So I'm gonna like be pausing it and looking at things.
yeah, exactly.
I'm gonna be doing a lot of, you know. But what's your wild prediction?
I
What's
mean,
your wild prediction?
I don't have one other than that it's like my first thought was at the beginning when I first saw the trailer was just this idea that like the old man Neo in the mirror thing was just kind of this idea that
Right.
like he's old and they reinserted him and they're controlling him and to what means I don't know. Which is like now that we've talked about everything, I'm like that
Right.
theory is not that crazy. Like it's pretty
No,
simple.
but it's actually not that wild because it seems more plausible
Yeah.
because it's like and plus, you know what? I've actually come around to it being old Neil because you see they before the actual trailer drops, they you remember they did the red pill, blue pill
Oh yeah, on the website.
teasers.
Yeah.
Right. So one of them like has that same mirror, but when it's like on his side,
Oh
and
really? Okay.
it looks exactly like Sati's father.
Oh,
But when I looked at the one in the actual trailer again, like several times, like even right before we started, I was like, I kept looking at it, and I'm like, nah, it sort of seems like it's supposed to be an older Neo, you know.
yeah.
But then
It's
another interesting, but then when he turns, it looks again like somebody else.
yeah. I know. I because every time I rewatched it,
You
I'm like, that's not him. That's
right.
not him.
Yeah, like it looks like him, and then it looks at someone else really
Yeah.
quick. It's like a shot. And then when we see Trinity scream, we see several versions of her, right?
Yeah.
So I'm thinking that mirror revealed the other versions of the one that had been. It's sort of like he's able to see because he's still the one. He actually is. If our theory that they kept his body and it's still the same Neo from the 90s,
Hmm.
right? Then that means that like it's possible he might be dealing with something like glitches as well because he's old.
All right. That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe he's because
Picking up
when
on that. Yeah.
Trinity screamed, right, like when Trinity screamed and we saw all that, maybe these are different versions of her that have been in the Matrix over time. Because one of them is Christina Ricci, who
Mm.
we know is also supposed to be a big deal in the movie. So what if that
Yeah.
is
What is she?
actually like that's like what if that's the one driving her in the layer of like because this layered thing you're talking about
Yeah.
actually it's brought something to my mind just as we were having the discussion because that something that makes it possible because Christina Ricci we've not been told who she's playing
Right. She's not even in the trailer, is
but
she?
I think she is we just didn't know it was her you
Oh,
see
okay.
we see a shot of someone who we are supposed to think is Trinity. And that shot that looks exactly like her introduction in the first film when she's sitting down to her back to us.
Oh, okay.
I
Interesting.
think that's Christina Ricci.
Ooh, okay. Okay.
You get it? And I'm thinking that might you see, so that's why I'm saying it's different eras of programming, and they're keeping these two old ones.
Mm,
So I'm thinking these two old ones will have to put themselves back into the program so that the new ones can go like can prosper, I should say.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Like
know,
continue the way
because
they should. Yeah.
exactly, because it's like, and I think that's actually the whole point of the machines keeping Neo and Trinity like somewhere
Because they
because
don't. They kind of don't want them to come
they
back.
don't
You
want it
mean?
to evolve. Exactly, they don't want the
Oh,
machine them to evolve, and I have a feeling for them to evolve, they might need the program like for every new iteration to happen, it needs the information from the old one, right?
hmm.
Like an
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I know
update.
what you
Like
mean.
you don't just jump from version 1 to 3. You gotta like, you have to update it to 2 and then put 3 on top of it.
Yeah, isn't there one of the Animatrix movies I thought touches on
Yeah,
that? Like it says all the
exactly.
Neos from all the time have to come together or something like that. If I recall.
Exactly. So I'm really thinking there. And you remember back in the day, the Wachowskis were very involved with the Animatrix
Yeah,
and
of
the
course, which I
games and
loved.
all that,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, because you remember like when we showed the death of Morpheus, when
Mhm.
Morpheus was killed in the alley, and Neo is like the other like he couldn't remember how he was able to see that situation, but somehow he was still around and whatever. So I'm thinking that's probably what's happening again. It's like, and the machines kind of figured that out. So they're like, nah, if we completely destroy their bodies and everything, the anomaly is gonna come again.
Hmm.
So what we're gonna do is keep them. So we're gonna keep their growth stunted. So it's like this new versions, they're sort of not like they're not up to their potential because they don't have the key quote unquote updates.
So it's
And
yeah,
maybe
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the whole point of this thing is to re sort of acclimate the ones
Like
together so that this
to
thing,
free Neo and
yeah,
Trinity from the machines so that they
exactly,
can
from the
join this.
machines so
Yeah,
that
yeah,
exactly so they can join back with the collective or whatever so then the new evolution can happen
yeah.
you
Which is such
know
a cool idea because it's like if half the film we think it's Neo and Trinity, and then at some point we learn that it's not
yeah
because they're in here, and then it's other people. Then it's even more exciting for them to be like, oh shit, I hope they get to Neo and Trinity and free them and like get
yeah
this whole thing going. And then that's when like
thank
when they all
you
come together, it's gonna be this
exactly.
moment of like hell yeah,
Oh shit. Yeah. Like it's like, yo, this is them. Yo, they're here.
Yeah.
Yo. This is the real. I think it could be that could be very cool. The only thing that makes me not think they might do that is because like I feel like Warner Brothers as it like is the studio because Warner Brothers is very lately they really don't like sort of rocking the boat with their stuff.
True, but
You
I
know,
think
even
that they
though I
would let
mean,
Lana do her thing. No, I don't know.
right. That's true. That's true. But
I
then
hope. I
again,
mean, I hope. I hope.
I hope so too because it's like the last two things they've done with them wasn't really like they
Yeah.
didn't make that much money off of it. So I don't know if. But then again, Matrix is like is legendary at this point.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
the IP has become such a part of the pop culture and stuff like that. So at the very least, you know that your number four is going to be a hit.
Yeah. I mean,
That
based
I
on the
think is a
buzz that
given.
that week was like, I
Exactly.
was like, of course, people are
It
excited.
was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like even I'm here in Ghana, and like a lot of well, a friend of mine over here who is like a chief, which like that makes that is significant because they are not known to be hip on stuff.
Yeah.
And he's like, "Hey, I hear the new Matrix." I'm like, "What?"
That's awesome.
Yeah, so I'm like, because apparently in the back when it came out, they were all into this, new age type of, so they were really into that type of, thinking and all that. So he's quite excited about going back into the Matrix. And I'm
That's
like,
so
yeah,
cool.
so
We need to get him
yeah,
on a
so it's like
podcast in December, then, please.
I swear, yeah, I will get him on. He's an actor and all that.
Okay.
He's not a geek, but he likes Matrix. So I think we after the film we're gonna have to get him on and see his thoughts and
Yeah, I
his
want to
sort of
know.
how he's been. Yeah, because it'll be really cool. Like African chief and his thoughts on the Matrix.
Yeah, man. Hell yeah.
So yeah, I think it'll be really it's gonna be. I think either way, regardless of what the outcome is, I think we're not gonna be expecting what the outcome is.
Yeah, of
You
course.
get it? Like whatever it is, it's gonna be a surprise. I think that's how it is, and I think it's gonna be a surprise in the way that the first Matrix was.
Yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
like in that sort of new. The conversations about it are gonna be quite like interesting, and especially now, like with the way the internet is and stuff like that. Like
Yeah, it's a
it's
whole different
ripe
world.
for
Yeah,
like
yeah.
yeah, like it's ripe for that type of meta conversation and stuff. I'm just hoping it's not something people don't come out of it with Last Jedi type of anger.
I mean, like you said, I think some people will be unhappy with it, but
I
because
know,
the other
because
comparisons people were making were Cloud Atlas, and I love Cloud Atlas, like personal favorite to mine.
yes,
But I understand
me
why
too.
people
Like
hate it.
I like that type of yeah. For me, I've always loved that type of storytelling, like
Yeah,
generational
yeah,
and stuff like that. And I got what they were trying to do, but I also understood why other people may not be into it because
yeah. Of
I feel
course.
like a lot of the time, like most for the most part, audiences sort of just want straightforward things. You
Yeah,
know,
of course.
it's sort of like the Matrix was just sort of an anomaly in the way that it became such a pop culture thing. I feel like it was designed to be a cult type thing
Hmm.
back then. Because I don't think back then, before it came out, anyone thought it was gonna be like they knew it was gonna be significant. Like, maybe they would be thinking something like The Crow, right? Like,
Yeah,
yeah, like it's gonna be this thing that people are gonna be talking about in some years. Like, wow, do you guys remember?
yeah,
But then that didn't happen. It immediately hit with everybody because this was 99. We just did went to white, we're just, about to enter into Y2K and all this stuff. It was right.
yeah.
It was
Exactly.
perfect timing for that film to drop. So I feel like that's that's part of the whole thing, of it.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's gonna flop. And I do think we're gonna get at least one more of these films.
Oh, you mean another Matrix one? I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah,
I'm
I think
because I don't
so.
really
I
know.
really think so.
I think we can only tell once we know how this ends. Although it was
Exactly. And
it
that's
was the
like
same
based
one with
on
the
what,
third one
yeah,
too. Yeah, like oh Neo
you
and Trinity
know?
are dead, but here they're back. Like
Right. Because
that's a
I feel like it's
question.
gonna end in a way that it's like there's more. Like
Of
but
course.
it's gonna be, they're gonna sort of resolve everything. But I feel it's sort of gonna be like, in a way, the first part of a trilogy. But I think they're not gonna be saying all that because obviously you don't want to jinx it. And I
Yeah.
don't also think that Lana wrote it in that way.
Right.
You know,
Right.
I feel like she wrote it to be what like its own thing and it can stand on its own. But I think there could be room for more just because of the new characters they're introducing and all this stuff. Because I feel like if it was just a last hurrah type of situation, Lawrence is still young. Like they could have brought him back.
Yeah, it's still
Like
still
he's still young
strange.
enough. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like I
Yeah.
feel like if it was just like this, okay, last hurrah, like we're coming in to shut down the Matrix. This is it. They would have brought Lawrence back in some capacity. But I feel like the reason they are not bothering with bringing him back right now is because there could be room for that somewhere down the line.
I like that
If
idea. That's like the most
yeah, like
optimistic
if
take on him not being needed
yeah,
I've heard. Like, hey, okay.
yeah, because I don't want to. I really don't. Because every time I think about it, I can't fathom why
Yeah,
Lana would not call him
I
if the
know. Me
character
neither.
of
Me neither.
Morpheus is gonna be, you know. So I'm just like, yo, it has maybe she has plans. Like she has to have ideas
Yeah.
about because their relationship hasn't been bad, you know. Because I think
Right.
was he not he may have done a few episodes of Sense8 or something like that. I'm not sure.
I don't know.
I don't remember. I don't know if it's him or someone. I don't know. I don't remember. But like I don't think their relationship has like, you know, I think they've been cool. So I don't think anything crazy is going on behind the scenes where they're like, yeah, let's just recast. You know,
Yeah,
I think the recast is a story driven
of course.
decision. It's not just to capitalize on like, oh yeah, it's hot right now, so let's go. I don't see the Wachowskis to be those type of filmmakers. Like they
Yeah,
don't,
yeah, of course.
they don't, yeah. I think it's yeah. So I'm gonna be optimistic about it.
No, okay, of course. And if other people have said, and
Yeah.
this makes complete sense, is they're like, there's a reason Yaya is Morpheus. Like, it's not just, oh, we wanted a different person. Like, there's a reason to it,
Exactly.
and we will
Yeah.
find out, and it'll all be explained eventually. And
Right.
just
And
gotta wait
even
to find out.
one other, yeah, yo, there's okay. This one is the one I don't think is likely, but it's interesting.
Okay.
Someone, because this is way before the trailer came out. A friend of mine was like saying, "What if this one is actually gonna Morpheus is gonna end up finding out that he is the one?" Like, cause but then, and
Oh,
what
right,
made me
right.
feel like that might be the case, because you know, there's a part in the trailer where he's kind of going through the same thing that Neo went through when he touched the mirror, and
Yeah, yeah.
like it's sort of like he's waking up to what the Matrix is. It seems like Yaya is also gonna go through that. That character might have that an aspect of his journey is also gonna be waking up.
But then why does
So
he have the red and blue pills in the other scene? That's what confuses
at
me.
the end, you know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
that's so confusing because in one aspect he's like surprised about like he's showing like he doesn't know anything about the Matrix.
right.
You know, it's almost like in that shot, it seems like he's completely like unaware of what's going on and he's afraid. But then in the rest of it, he's the regular Morpheus that we remember,
Yeah,
like the guy who knows everything, like
yeah.
waking Neo up and all that. So I don't know, man. It's that theory might be interesting as well. But for me, why I don't buy it is because that rather fuels into my theory that it's all three of them that have to wake up, and we're gonna see sort of each of them like in different stages of that. And I'm thinking Morpheus will be the first one to fully awaken, and then he's gonna go chase down Neo, and then they're together gonna go find Trinity with the help of like the blue head chick
Right,
and
right.
everyone, because I'm thinking that once the three of them, and it's probably gonna not be a surprise that the girl's name is Trinity. I don't think it's probably not gonna be just for nothing that
Right.
that's her name, because maybe she completes it when they come together, which then lets us see that there might be a new trinity of people coming in, and that's what's gonna piss everybody off.
No, but I think if it's handled right, it will be such a nice
Yeah,
handoff. It'll be like such a good way to say,
yeah,
like the
because it's like,
Spider-Man movie again.
yeah,
It'll be like, hey, look,
exactly.
don't worry. Not only are we going to give you one last adventure with these three people, except for Fishburne, but then we're going to teach you to like
I know,
accept
right?
that it's going to move on and take the next step somewhere.
Yeah,
I think
yeah, and even with that, yeah, and even when they do that, I would hope they don't even like they do all that in this movie, and then we wait another 10 years.
no, please no. I
Nah,
wanted like
I need all the
tomorrow,
trilogy
man.
right now. Yeah, man.
No, one of the
Because
coolest things, I wish you would have seen this in 2003, but one of the coolest things in 2003 was seeing The Matrix Reloaded in May and then realizing that the Revolution was only 6 months away. I remember like how it blew my
Oh
mind
wow.
because I was like, the only other movies that did that were Lord of the Rings, where it was 1 year and you knew it was coming.
Right, right,
But with the
right.
Matrix, I was like, I can't believe we only have to wait 6 months and they've already made it and it's like ready to go.
Wow. That's
So
the feeling.
you're so
Yo, that
excited, yeah.
would be awesome, man.
But I don't think this
That would be
one.
awesome.
I don't think they're ready for another one next year.
Yo, okay, okay. What if we find out that Warner Brothers secretly shot an entire trilogy?
That would be amazing. I would love that.
And scary as hell too.
Yeah.
Because like what if we don't like the first one? And the first one like went to some crazy places. You're like, well, we're stuck with it. Like this is where we're going now.
I would love that. I would love it.
Because they tried to do that with Fantastic Beasts, I think, but I think they wised up eventually. But that would have been wild when they lost the cast member. But yeah, that
Right.
I'm really, really excited to see what happens in December. And I feel like right before we should probably do a preview of it, like a week out,
Yeah, I'm
because
thinking
I
like
feel like there might be another trailer. Yeah,
yeah. I don't
because
want
I'm
to
thinking there
see
might
it,
be
but
another
like
trailer.
the perfect world for me would be no more footage the rest of the year, and we just like all go see it in
Yes,
December.
we just go in straight up.
Yeah, but I know they're
That
gonna
would
have
be
at least
perfect.
one more trailer. They have
Yeah,
to.
they're gonna do it. They're gonna write like final trailer or whatever,
Yeah, even if it's
make a
just one
big deal
more.
out of it.
Yeah,
Right. But
because
I'm hoping it's like a rehash with just like a few new snippets.
yeah, I hope so too. I hope so too.
Yeah, I was one of those, like where it's like a rehash of what we saw already. But or if it's not a rehash, it's like there's this style that the Marvel movies do this very well, where like they would basically just extend the same shots that they showed you already.
Oh, right. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, or use like different angles of the same shot. So it's like you still look at the same scene, basically the same 5 scenes or whatever that they're cutting the trailer from,
yeah.
So we don't sort of get to know too much. And I'm wondering if there's any like misdirect scenes in it, because sometimes
There has to be though. Yeah.
yeah, like they might, because and if there's gonna be, it's gonna be that Morpheus body assembling scene, because it has like it's the newest, it's the only thing that doesn't fit with what like where Morpheus's new body is being assembled or whatever. Like maybe that might be the only one that was thrown in there to mess us up.
Maybe, maybe. I actually last night when I was doing my trailer research, the one thing I found that I had never noticed before is that and I don't know what this has to do with anything. I like posted it on Reddit because I was like, I don't know what this
Right.
means. Is that when in the shots at the end when he's like riding his motorcycle around with Trinity, and they're being chased by like a
Right.
mass of people, and in every shot of this people,
Yeah, and they
they
all
have
have the green eyes.
they all have the green eyes. And of course, in the beginning of the trailer, there's a shot with a guy whose eyes turn green and he becomes like a robot and shoots Neo. So I was thinking,
Right,
like, I
right.
don't know what it is. It looks like a virus, like which is funny because the whole point of the first movie was that it was a virus. But like,
Right.
it looks like an actual kind of like virus, like that you would control someone's mind. And this is when I posted on Reddit, someone said, "Oh, this is the theory about this Matrix being a kind of like what you were saying, like a holding cell for Neo, and that instead of
Oh,
using
that is
agents."
amazing.
Yeah, instead of using agents because they know that people pick up on the agents now, they're saying they'll just control people like with their cell phones. Like they'll look at their phone, it'll turn them into this zombie person with the green eyes, and they'll
And
go
they'll
after
go
and do what
after
they do.
him.
Yeah. And I was like, okay, but that still doesn't explain what the hell is going on. Like and what this green eye
Right, right, right.
virus thing
But
is.
that
Like what it's crazy. I don't know
right,
what.
but it kind of, yeah, that is an amazing catch. And I think it kind of does though, because it means we might be onto something about the machines deliberately keeping Neo somewhere to prevent something
Yeah, and stopping people from realizing that they should like free
from
themselves and
reaching
join his
him.
path.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right, right. So wow, that holding cell thing just blew my mind,
Yeah, that was
because
an
it makes a lot of
interesting,
sense.
yeah.
It makes
Like
a whole lot of sense, man.
because
Because
it's
it's
also
like,
like he could be in a Matrix, and then there could be this other version too that we're seeing scenes from.
right, that's like he's in the matrix within a matrix that's only specifically for him.
Yeah.
you know, where so
Mind.
whenever that's
Whew.
mind blowing and mind bending, man.
I know. I'm like, okay, how many matrices do we have? Four matrices, matrices. It's like Inception. It's
I
like
know,
how many
right?
dreams can you go
Like
into?
exactly a dream within the dream, man.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it so much because it means that we could have like a that's even more dangerous situation because that means literally everybody around you is a threat. Like
Yes.
kind of
Exactly.
like the training, yo, this could be true, man. Because remember, like they had a training section of their matrix that was like that, where they used to show him about the red lady, the
Yeah.
lady
Yeah.
in red and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So it's possibly another packet like that
Exactly. Yeah.
where like, and you know what? I think we cracked it because do you remember that like, you know, they used to be able to watch the matrix from the controls in the little
Oh, right.
monitors,
Right. Right. Right.
right? So what if the place that we see that projection is not a movie, but that's actually the control station for Neo's specific part of the matrix?
Ah,
So it's
interesting.
blown up and they're able to
Yeah.
watch it, you know, and because you can see a lot of monitors down there besides the projection. When you look down there, there's like computers and different that look like that matrix interface.
Yeah. Exactly.
You get it? So it's possibly that's where they sort of they're controlling Neo's thing. Like
Yeah, like
Neo's
he's
part of
re-going
this
through the
whole thing.
whole thing again, and then they're
Exactly.
kind of looking
So
through his. Oh man,
this
this is
makes a lot of
trippy.
sense because yeah, because that means and that makes sense because you remember the part where in the trailer where him and Morpheus and the blue head chick are running
Uh-huh.
away from something.
Right.
Morpheus is dressed like an agent, so that means that he probably wanted to infiltrate that place to get Neo
Oh,
out.
true, true, true.
Because Morpheus is dressed as an agent, and when you look closely, how you know it's a disguise is because he's still wearing his regular Morpheus glasses under the agent glasses. It's
Wow.
goofy as hell when you I was watching New Rockstars breaking it down, and there's the when you look at when you pause it, you actually see that he's actually wearing the Morpheus's like classic
Yeah,
eyeglasses,
yeah, yeah. Without
and
the
then
the
he's
thing. Yeah.
wearing without the handles, yeah, and then he's wearing like regular shades on top of it with the suit.
Crazy.
Yeah, so it's funny as hell. So it's like I'm thinking that you are actually onto something with that because those people, I'm thinking all of that will be in the beginning when they're trying to remove Neo from that first part of the Matrix.
Hmm.
Because I'm thinking they're gonna have to break him out of that portion of it before they bring him into the regular one where they go into the dojo and all that.
Hmm.
Because I don't think he's still awake at the dojo. Because
Think
at
he's
the dojo,
gonna.
he's still telling Morpheus that like Morpheus doesn't know him.
Hmm.
So that means he's not actually because if he wakes up, he presumably he would remember like what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I'm thinking they take him out of there, and that's actually
And then
that's a
they're gonna
good
have to like
cast.
take him like Inception again. They're gonna take him out of like
Right. Take
this
him to
one,
the
then
next
to this one,
level.
and then this one until they can
Right.
like get him to see what's going on. And
Yeah. That is amazing. Like I hope that's what it is because it will make so much sense.
yeah,
But then
this is
again, it might be something more exciting.
I know. Well, this is what I was gonna say. This is what's so exciting about this is that like we can watch an Avengers trailer and we're kind of like, okay, we know what's gonna happen, and like we've seen those
Right.
storylines.
But with
But we can
this,
watch this and we have like 100 theories and we're still like we have no
100,
idea if any
yes,
of them are true or
we have
not.
no idea,
Like there's
because
this thing
either
in the
of them
back of
make
this
sense.
shot that could mean this. Like, what is this? Like, we don't know anything. It's so cool.
And the funniest thing is, like sometimes we'll look at a shot where maybe in the movie it's just someone walking into a room and it has nothing to do with nothing.
Yeah, of course.
But we will be like, yo, that room might be that
Well,
room might be where they keep in whatever.
this was my favorite thing when I was doing it in 2003 is we would like I would look at like books on the wall. We'd take like every piece of text
Right.
in any
You
footage and be
know?
like, what does it mean? And then of course it would mean nothing.
Yeah.
But it was still fun to be like, what does it mean? Like, what does this book
Yeah.
mean?
And then this I loved in this trailer, one of the things I loved just coming from me always kind of looking around trying to find something was that Simulate coffee shop. And
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
yeah,
oh, that gives it away. You're giving it away. Like, obviously, everything is a simulation. Like, And he was, and that's where I think he's going towards that when the whole place starts looking like code. So I'm thinking that's probably around one of the few like times where he'll have that. I think like maybe when he's walking around, he sees code every now and then.
Mm.
Like he sees that green
Because he was supposed to be able to do that all the time at the end of the movies.
Exactly. So they probably like maybe the blue pills suppress it. So whenever he's running out, it starts popping, and then he's like, "Yo, I think I'm losing my mind," and they give him more blue pills.
Yeah.
Wow, yo, this is amazing, yo.
I know.
This has been so amazing. Like we could do this all day, but you know, I have to call. I gotta get ready to call my daughter, and then a whole lot of other stuff.
Yeah,
but
no
I'm really
worries.
excited. yeah.
We'll
But I'm so
up.
excited to see. Yeah, I'm so excited to see what happens this December. You know, just to see how close we are.
Yeah, of course.
To some of the things that we were saying and how far off. And then when we revisit it, hopefully by then, you know, we would all be happy with what happened, and then we can speculate more.
Yeah,
But then again,
dude, I
who
can't
knows?
wait. Can't wait.
I can't wait, man. What if, theory, man? What if we both end up not liking it?
No, it's not possible.
I don't. Exactly. I don't find that to be something that can happen. But if that happens, that would be wild.
I think the only thing that would happen is that I like it less than I like one of the sequels. You know, maybe I'll be like, oh, I like Revolution more than this or something.
Right.
Which I don't want to happen because I'm not like I enjoy the sequels a lot, but they're not like my all-time favorites, like the first movie.
Right.
Which I also want to talk about them one day. But yeah, like it's.
Yeah, we can, man. You know what? We could, if you want to do like a preview, like lead up to it. Maybe when we enter December.
Yeah, definitely.
We could do it weekly, and then sort of lead into the film. Definitely. If you want to do that, yeah, that would be really cool. We could, yeah. So we could just use it like and drop them under that same Matrix Spaces thing, so that we kind of have like a small mini series podcast about the Matrix. Yeah, that would be cool. Do you watch Matrix Explained on YouTube?
No, but now I need to. It's on YouTube.
There's a guy.
Okay.
Yeah. It just the channel. But the thing is, like, he has a lot of cool videos, but he's even worse than us, bro. Like that dude, he has a theory like every 2 minutes, and they make sense. Like it's not the crazy ones. Like whenever you watch it, you're like, why? How do you do this? You're making sense. Like he'll pull every time, like, dude, you got me on this thing and my mind was here, and now you brought me on this other thing that's also equally very interesting.
Yeah, well, it's every time I've ever read any theory about the architect and what he's saying, I'm like, first things first, I don't understand what the architect says. Secondly, everything you say could be true.
Makes sense.
And like anything you can say about what the architect says is like, well, I guess it could be true. I mean, maybe that's what he's saying. Like there's no way you can really decipher what he's saying because he's such a enigma of sorts.
Right. And the way he talks is hilarious to me. Like I remember like a lot of people made fun of it back in the day, like because of the fact that he was like basically 2 minutes of him giving us the whole lowdown. But I actually ate it up, like me, and I remember, like I said, I watched The Matrix away from the hype.
Mm-hmm.
By the time I watched it, it had already and became a big fan of it. So it's like I actually liked the Oracle in that way, just because of the way that because I felt like he was, at the time I watched it, he literally gave me what I needed for this story, because I was like, because he started explaining a lot, and I'm like, oh, okay. So everything he was saying started making sense to me. I was like, okay, that makes sense. So Neo is number 6. All right, cool. So when we are wrapped with this, we're gonna go into number 7. All right, nice. That's dope. It wasn't, but I can see how like you can get so many different things from what he's saying. Like it's written in such a way that you can interpret it in so many different ways, and almost every interpretation I've heard makes sense.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, like almost everyone that I've heard that they've done. But I'm gonna send you the guys. I'll send you a link to his channel. Like it's crazy. Like if you're a Matrix fan, it's like it's one of the ones you should be checking out. Okay. Very, very cool. Yeah, analysis and stuff. He breaks down the entire series, talks about little things. That's where I actually got he got me thinking about how Cypher might, sort of the whole Cypher thing might foreshadow. Cypher's whole speech might foreshadow what's going on with Neo right now.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know, which would be a very cool callback and stuff
yeah.
like that. But yo, thanks, man. Like this was amazing.
No,
It was
thank
way
you,
more
man.
fun than it was
Yeah,
more fun than I thought it would. I knew it was gonna be fun because we have from your tweets. I know you're just as a big fan of it as I am.
yeah.
But it was even more fun than I thought it was gonna be. That's amazing.
Good. Good. Glad to hear. And I'll send you if I have
Yeah.
any other crazy ideas that come up. I'll just send you a message. Be like, look at
Yeah,
this.
hit me up. Yeah. Send me everything, man. Like whatever you see. If you have like a thought, like yo, you just have like a Victor. Yeah, hit me up, man. I'm always ready to
Okay.
talk about the Matrix.
Hell yeah, man.
All right, man. I will hit you up and then probably get ready. I don't know what you're doing for the rest of the Sunday, but I'm guessing probably not much.
Nah, just cooking dinner. That's it.
Nice. I'm gonna talk to my kid and then do the same.
Cool, man. Have a good evening.
You too, man. Thank you so much.